Okay, good morning, everybody. I'm not quite sure what's going on with my intro, but it doesn't seem to want to play, so we'll just skip it this morning. So, before I get started, let me say good morning to all my wildflowers out in the bushes, and especially good morning to my sunflowers here with us. Um, this morning, we're going to have a little bit of a conversation. I need it to be interactive because this is to decide how we're actually going to do the ladies group. Um, Let me start off by saying thank you, Woo Child, for being here. I appreciate you more than I can tell you. And Marcella, thank you for showing up. I really want to hear your opinions on this too, because I know you do a lot of stuff reaching out to help people and to come together. And Marla, it's very good to see you this morning. We have another one of our friends that is unable to make it. Hopefully, she can be here for the noon show, but she is having an ultrasound this morning. She's having some medical issues, and I told her we would start off this show by praying for her. So if you don't want to hear a prayer, mute me for a minute because I am going to reach out and say a prayer. And then I'm going to bring London Girl back on. London Girl, you can unmute yourself whenever you want to because I've got you unmuted on my end. Um,
Hey guys, I just wanted to say greetings from London. It was a very beautiful autumn day with lots of sunshine, beautiful colours on the trees this time of the year. And we are now at 1 o'clock in London. So after this live, I'm going to be getting some soup to warm me up a little bit. And it's really great that you are joining us today.
um, Thank you so much. I am so glad you're here. You're just my sidekick, and I just love you to death, and I appreciate your input every time you're here. Good morning, Natasha. Good morning, Tenneke. Marcella, that will be 9:30 Central, and I don't think we're going to go too much longer than that because I am going to do it again at noon. And Avi, good morning. Um, if y'all give me just 1 minute to say a quick prayer to get started, um, and then we'll go from there. Heavenly Father, we thank you for allowing us to gather here today and to come together as women to stand for each other, to stand with each other, and try to bring peace to the YouTube streets and to our own personal lives in general. We love you and we appreciate you, and we ask your blessings on this broadcast. We ask for blessings on each person attending here. Give us peace of mind and peace in our hearts. And Lord, we lift Angel up to you this morning. Please touch her body, heal her from head to toe. Let her ultrasound come back clear and clean. And we thank you for everything. And it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Um, London Girl and I spoke this morning. She is Buddhist and I am Christian, and we're going to bring the two together to kind of talk about what it looks like to stay positive in a negative environment. And also, I want to start a women's group where we have a Zoom call each week that will not be aired on any social media platform. It will be a safe place. You can hide behind an avatar, you can have a new name. It's for a place for women to come together, to support each other, to cry on each other's shoulders, to learn to deal with issues that we deal with. I will do a short video each week, and in the description have a link to the Zoom call. I am asking everybody in my chat and everybody that does the replay to please let me know what time is best for you, so we can kind of come together. So we'll only do one Zoom call a week. It may last a couple of hours where you can come in and go at your convenience. But like I said, it will not be aired. It will be by the link that will be in the chat. I will not allow hate or anything else. And while I'm on that subject, let me go ahead and say right now, please do not mention any other creator in this chat. This is not about any other creator. It's about the people that are in the chat. It's about coming together. It is not about any kind of beef. I don't allow that. When I first started this channel, I started it off to be a place to come together and to love each other. And I allowed beef to come into it. And for that, I am accountable and I apologize. And it's not going to happen. I've gotten rid of a few subscribers, and we are changing this back to what it was supposed to be. Hey, Natasha. Hey, Sharon. We are going to make it peaceful. Okay, having said all of that, I want to start off again by saying Romans 12:8 says, if it be possible, be at peace with everyone as it depends on you. And sometimes that's just not possible. Sometimes a person comes into your life with so much drama and so much hate and self hatred that it's projected onto others, that it's just not possible to live at peace with that person. And as much as it depends on you, you can be at peace with yourself and the part of the interaction that deals with you. You have to take a mental assessment and determine what you can control and what is outside of your control. And we cannot control what other people say or do, even if it's mean spirited, the most vile, hurtful things you've ever heard. You have control over what you internalize and how you react to that. Now, London Girl and I were talking about this before we started. And London Girl, tell me how you look at that same situation.
So, fundamentally, Buddhism and I'm sure other religions talk about respect for everybody, respect for life. So within that, I guess the fundamental basis is respect that this person is a human being. Say if we're looking at the situation on YouTube. However, we also talk about be the influence in your environment and not let the environment influence you. And so that means that if I just talk about myself, for instance, so like many people here, I found YouTube during this situation we're in with the corona and lockdown, and it was an escape and it was a place to connect to people on a platform that I wasn't on previously. However, YouTube as a whole is social media, so it can suck you down this path. I can be sucked down this path of being quite addicted to it, and I realized that I realized that YouTube was influencing me, as in my life, and I no longer was influencing it. So for the last few weeks, where I've been observing things from the bushes, I realized that it's basically dominate it's a domination in my life, and it's not necessarily a positive domination based on the channels that I watch. So I was reminded when I was talking to Kim Fields, Kim 101, I don't know, you got lots of names. Anyway, when I was talking to Kim earlier, that as a human being, as a Buddhist, my mission is to influence the environment that I'm in, and not the other way round. And with that influence, I like to add value and be positive as a person. So I'm really happy to be joining Kim and creating just a safe space where we can check in with each other, we can empower each other, we can share ideas. It's always interesting to me to hear the American experience, and especially the Black American experience. I'm a Black woman living in London, so yeah, I'm delighted to see people here, and thank you, Kim, for hosting and setting this up.
Thank you. Thank you for being here with me for it. Um, I really would like to hear what the chat has to say. I think yes, I have the link pinned in the comments. You're welcome to come up and give your opinion, your thoughts. But I want to get back to the staying positive, and it's like London Girl says, it's you have to control what's around you instead of letting what's around you control you. And that's kind of what I had slipped into. And I took a week off to gather my thoughts and to get everything back together. And I thought a lot about this women's group and us coming together. I've learned that people may say and do things that make you feel emotionally triggered, but there's a difference between the feeling and the action. The feeling is the response that happens within you internally, and it's the emotional reaction. You get to choose how you are going to respond to that emotion. Um, that's one dynamic that you are in control of, and you don't have to let anybody control you. You don't accept, acknowledge the hatred. It's kind of like I'm sitting up here with London Girl now, and I have the ability to mute her where nobody can hear her. Um, we both have avatars this morning, but if we were showing our faces and everything, and I had her muted, you could see her mouth move, but not hear a word that came out of it. And that's kind of like what you have to do to the people that are spreading hate, slander, gossip. Put them on mute. Put them on mute psychologically if you can't physically put them on mute. You do not have to internalize it, and you definitely do not have to spread it. You can walk away, you can let it go, but you are the one who sets those boundaries. And a boundary, good morning, Michelle. That's okay. You're fine. You're just in time. I just got home from Texas. I've spent several days in Texas. But you are the one who sets the boundaries, and a boundary is only a wish unless it is enforced. And I'm going to say that again. A boundary is only a wish unless it is enforced. And you get to enforce those boundaries, that you don't let people's words, actions influence you. You be the influencer. You be the change that you want to see on here. You be the one that is full of love and that shares. Um, Good morning, Simone. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am so blessed and I appreciate you. I am so glad you're here. We have Simone and I go back for a few months and we have talked about doing shows like this together and I've got some other updates to share with you later, but I am so glad you're here.
Well,
Good
I'm
Good
so
morning,
happy to
morning.
be here.
Simone.
Good morning. You know what? May I just say, Kim, I am so happy to be here. And I am sorry that I've missed your last few lives. I have wanted to attend. I have simply started a new work position and my schedule's changed. I'm actually up right now. Just because I had some time off and I didn't think I was going to be able to attend. But when I saw that I had some time off, I just wanted to stop by. So I am so sorry.
Ah,
I have missed so many of your lives, but I'm so happy to be here now because the positive things that you want to discuss, I'm so interested in discussing. May I just say that I read something that really speaks to all that you're talking about? I'm not exactly sure
mm.
who posted it, but they said, be mindful of your entire diet. Your diet isn't just what you eat, it's who you allow
Absolutely.
into your life, the things you read, the things you watch. All of those things are affecting your spirit. So I wanted to, stop in and be a part of this positive conversation.
I love that.
Yeah, so happy to be here with London Girl and Kim and Fields of Grace. This is wonderful. I'm happy to be here.
I
I
really
am
love that.
happy you
Do you
are
mind?
here.
Sorry, ladies. Do you mind reading it again, Simone? It was so beautiful.
Well, I didn't read it. It was just it was a post that I'm reciting from memory, and
Ah,
try,
okay.
try to find it someplace. But what it said was, be mindful of your entire diet. Your diet isn't just what you eat; it's who you allow into your life. It's the television you watch. It's the music you listen to. That is your entire diet. Just be mindful of all of those things which you consume.
Hey, listen,
Absolutely.
that is so funny because as you said it, as you said TV, I was like, oh my God, you're so right because I've just had an operation on my ankle, so I've been binge watching a lot of TV, and I binge watched The Handmaiden's Tale, and then for like a week after, I was relating everything in my life to The Handmaiden's Tale.
That is
So
hilarious.
so it's so true how those influences seep into our minds just in terms of that diet. That's so funny. Thank you for sharing it.
Yeah.
Um, there's another verse in the Bible that says, "Bad company corrupts good character,"
Mm,
and I've looked at that a lot. You are judged by the company that you keep, and by what you are willing or are not willing to condone and accept from the company that you keep.
that's true. That's true.
And I want to surround myself with positive people. I want to surround myself with people that have goals that are wanting to succeed in life instead of just coming up with more beef and more hatred. And there's there's no sense in that. Um, you may get the dollars for clicks and views, but there's no sense in it.
Absolutely.
I'd also be interested, as you said, I think you said achieving goals. I think I heard
Yes.
you say achieving goals. So at this time of the year, what do we have? We have less than we don't have Thanksgiving in the UK, but we have less than what, six weeks to Christmas, so 8 weeks until the end of the year. So I'd be interested in hearing about what people's goals are and how we can manifest them and what we need to do, what work we need to do on ourselves to manifest them. Because in Buddhism, we talk about cause and effect. So it's like, what are the things we're doing now so that they can manifest in a month, in 2 months, or 3 months, and have that focus so that we are. Um, moving back into our grounded lives. Like, congratulations, Simone. You just said you started a new position in a new job. So I'd be
Mhm.
really interested. Like I'm working on my 6-month plan at the moment. So I'll be really interested about hearing stuff like that, which I think is really positive if we focus on, our future and what we have to do now to achieve that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I
Absolutely.
love that you said, London Girl, to start working on ourselves. And you have to be complete and whole and know where you stand before you allow other people's to tell you where you stand.
Mhm.
And
Absolutely.
that to me is just, I love that you do. It starts within yourself.
Well, what was that you said about boundaries? Boundaries are just wishes unless you enforce them.
Absolutely. A boundary is just a wish unless it's enforced.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been working a lot on boundaries this year, and I think it's to do personally for me is how I work in a corporate job, and so we all work from home, and how in the beginning of lockdown there was this weird thing where it really felt like people were in my house, because you're having meetings, and I was
Right.
just like, in the beginning I was just like, I wouldn't even want these people to come round to my
Mhm.
house, and now it feels they're in my house. And the
Mhm.
boundary for me was as simple as turning the camera off
Yes, yes.
and having that separation.
I'm fortunate in that I work from home and I have an entire room that's just my office. So I found that when you're working from home, you're always working. People think that it's this wonderful thing. You're not, but I am always working. It's like I'll walk by the room and I'll think, well, let me just stop in and do this.
Yeah,
I've actually just closed the door and said, no, today is your day off. You are
that's
not
amazing.
going to, like this morning, I'm not participating in this particular meeting because I really don't need to be there. So instead of being
Mhm.
on that video call, I'm here with you wonderful ladies because this is my time. This is
Amazing.
my time. And I think that, actually shutting down the laptop and saying, I have worked for the day, I've given them theirs, and it's now my time.
Well, I
That's
sure do
amazing.
appreciate you spending your time with us. That's very thoughtful, and I do appreciate it. And since the Zoom call that you and I had, I
Mhm.
love your perspective. I love your view of life, and I am so glad that you are here to share it with us. I also want to stop and say good morning to Learning to Love Myself and Paranormal Witch. Thank you both for being here. But Simona, I do respect your position, and it meant a lot to me, and I'm so glad you were here to share it.
Thank you.
You're a brilliant, lovely lady.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm glad to be here in the era of the housewives. I am glad to be on a panel that is talking about the positivity of women, because as much as I do enjoy watching the housewives segment, and that all came about relatively uh, this recently. It wasn't until COVID that I got into the housewives. I think that's for obvious reasons, but I've noticed just how negative it is and just how much those ladies hate one another and are antagonistic towards one another. And it's good, if you've spent, any time watching and commenting on reality TV, to be a part of something positive, because reality TV, it is very negative. Recently, we've been talking about the negativity of social media, how it is divisive, it is racist, it has unhealthy body images. The same thing could be said of the housewives. They show unrealistic, unhealthy body images. Those women are in their 40s. It is clear that they are on crash diets and using all kinds of plastic surgery. Their hatefulness towards one another, their divisiveness, the sexism that they levy at each other, it's all very entertaining but very negative. And I want to make sure that I keep myself in check. And I say to myself, this is what you're watching. This is what you're watching all the time. So I'm just as happy to be here as anyone, because this is a positive environment, and I'd like to participate in that.
I appreciate that. And like I said, what my goal with this ladies group is to have Zoom calls each week. And I really would like to know from everybody that wants to participate what a good time of the day is to have those Zoom calls, And like I said, you can have an avatar or however Zoom works with that, but it is not going to be a show for clicks and views because it will not be published on YouTube or any other social media. It'll be a safe place for people to open up and talk without having to worry about everybody seeing and hearing what they said unless they're in that group.
Be really interesting in the chat if people could just put a hand or a sunflower to just gauge if this is something that people want to do, that are interested in this Zoom group that you've got. I mean, I'm sure people are, and I know you got people watching in the bushes, but it'd be just interesting for the people right now to just put their thumbs up or show some kind of response to, this great group that Kim started.
Yes, please. I've had so many DMs on Instagram since I first mentioned it, and I've had a lot of people say they were interested, but this is where the rubber meets the road, and I really need to know what everybody wants in order to start this. And I don't mind having just thank you, Michelle.
Oh,
I
and
don't
learning to love
mind.
myself. Nice.
Yeah, I don't mind having just one or two people. I will talk with one person all day long. If I will, if that person, y'all look, I'll talk to the wall if nobody's around to talk to. But I'll talk to anybody and we can discuss anything. We don't have to agree, but we can respectfully disagree. And you do not have to be hateful and throw in, as the Bible says, fiery darts of the evil one to get your point across.
True.
A place for dialogue and discussion,
Absolutely.
and
Um,
making it safe for people
it
who may not feel that having these kind of conversations on an open platform is safe for them. So it's a closed space in that respect, is what you're saying.
right, absolutely. And it doesn't matter what race you are, what nationality you are, what religion you are. None of that matters because you are a person with thoughts and feelings and emotions. And sometimes we just have to get that out, especially in a, yes, well, child, no judgment, especially in a place that has become so negative as YouTube that you're afraid to say something to one person because another person is going to hate you for being involved with that person. And that's insane. We're adults. I mean, that is like on a playground where you can't talk to so and so because they're not friends with your friend. And that is not what we're creating here. Everybody is welcome. And who knows, we may even be able to mend fences, rebuild bridges, and come together as one. And you can do it without people um, lurking in the bushes and not participating.
Kim, can I say something about
Sure.
positivity? You know, there's a saying, misery loves company, and that is
Hmm.
as true can be. As positive
Hmm.
as you want to be, there's always going to be someone on the other side who wants to be negative. And I think what's been really important in my life is recognizing those who want to be positive and those who want to be negative. There are some people who just always want to keep some mess kind of going, no matter what. They will find a way to make the situation tense. And if you can recognize those people and distance them from yourself and make them not a part of your daily diet, that's the first step, I believe, to living a more positive.
Absolutely, it is. And that's what I had done is I had to step back and look at the people that were in my life. And I'm like, as I was telling London Girl earlier, the game does not change, only the players. And if you watch, some of these people will get they'll run one beef to death until there's nothing else to drain from it and start another one for clicks and views. And you cannot be a happy, mentally healthy individual when you are constantly wanting to start arguments or wanting to insert yourself into somebody else's argument. You can't be a happy, healthy individual.
So we were also talking about the other areas of YouTube. So we're all in this kind of, we found ourselves here together through some of the creators we probably all follow, and it's a particular genre, say, we're interested in. But from my experience, every single, I'm into true crime. I think cooking's the only one I found without any drama. But the true crime people that I was watching recently, they've all imploded and there's loads of drama going on there. So my question is who is, oh, hi, Paranormal Witch. Hi, Running That Mouth. Hi, Natasha. Nice to see you all here. My question is, and maybe to Simone, because she's on the positive high right now, let's say. My question is, where are the areas of YouTube that have these kind of content of positivity and growth? And if anyone wants to share any links in the chat, or what they watch to keep themselves positive.
Yes, please do. Please do. Because I'm going to tell you, I have stepped over into a lot of the inspirational, biblical, and Christian community. And I have found so much positivity from just that. And they do discuss different religions and different viewpoints, but nobody is trampling on anybody else that I have seen so far. I'm sure it's out there, but then again, like I said, I'm choosing who I associate with and who I choose to be in my life. And you're right, the cooking sector, and I know Tenneke is going to love this. Hey, Pink Dynamite. The cooking sector, the only beef is what they're cooking. And I love it. I love it because we share recipes. We come together. I do have a cooking channel, and we do help each other out. And I would love for this, even if we have to create a sector of the women coming together doing the same thing. Tenneke on her show exchanges recipes. They come together. I love it. It's everybody laughing and having fun. And I have yet to be in one of her lives where people are arguing. And that to me just makes my heart smile. And to share, I mean, it is so good to laugh. It is so good to laugh, and it releases endorphins that make you happy. And you don't have to be worried about who says what to who. I do, Michelle, Southern Fried and Gluten Free is my YouTube channel. I do have low carbs, and I've got keto on there, and I have got a lot of recipes I've got to catch up on. But yes, I do have a lot of low carb, and I will be having more.
Amazing. The other thing I like to watch is comedy stuff. For me, and to always keep my mental health in check, I know kind of what that looks like for me is I have to listen to music every day. I have to laugh, and I used to be someone who would laugh till they cried. Lack of connection in terms of, I'm in the UK, so we had lockdown pretty much for 6 months at least. And so uh, yeah, when it was pre-lockdown. Sorry, I took some medication earlier. I'm getting a bit dozy. Um, pre-lockdown, that would be one of my things. I'd have to laugh every day till I cried, and I used to, do that with colleagues in the workplace. But I noticed it wasn't happening so much. So I'd just look at either different comedians or different outtakes from shows. These are the stuff that I know I need to always feed my character. This is just some of the stuff to keep my character high in terms of, in terms of looking at positive stuff that feeds my soul.
Absolutely. I have seen a few sunflowers in the chat. People have come in since one girl had mentioned that. If you are interested in having and participating in a ladies' chat in the form of a Zoom call, not a public platform on YouTube. It will be a private Zoom call just for the ladies that want to be in there. It will not be aired. It will not be posted on any social media, and it will be a safe place. Please put a sunflower in the chat to let me know that you're interested. And if there is a better time of day for you, please let me know, and let me know what time zone that is. I'm in the central time zone. So like right now it is 8:44 my time, 9:44 Eastern time. Simone, what time zone are you in?
I'm Central Standard, Chicago.
Okay, you're with me.
Mhm.
And London girl, what is
It's 1:45 p.m. in the UK, and it's 2:45 p.m. in Europe.
Wonderful. What time of day is good for you ladies?
Hey Mike, hey King's Forum.
Well,
Is
when
that
it
Mike?
gets
Hey Mike. Good
Mike, come on up
morning.
here.
Yeah, come and bust into the ladies' chat.
Always great to have a male perspective.
It is. No, I'm laughing. I'm laughing at the irony of it.
As far
I
as
love
time,
Mike's. I love listening to Mike. Always has the right thing to say at the right time. But he's at work right now.
And he's
Mike,
got
I'm
a
always
fantastic channel, by the way, everyone. Mike, can you post your link to your channel? Because it's a very positive channel. It's like a developing channel in terms of the content. So it's he interviews people who have been through some things. He gives perspectives on, different topics. It's an amazing channel. So I encourage you all to take a look at that as well. And also is another UK guy. So
yeah, they got to support each other, right? Okay. Learning to love myself. I see that. Mike, you are so very welcome. I love you to death. Mike and I have been doing shows together for at least 6 months, maybe longer. Michelle and Learning to Love Myself are both saying anything after 5 p.m. Central Time. Because of me fixing dinner and everything, would 7 p.m. be too late? Let me know about that.
And also, feel free to DM Kim your preferred
Absolutely.
times. There isn't going to be a best time for everyone, but she can get as close to that as she can.
If we have to do 2 shows in a day, because I do want my UK and London people and Canadians to be able to participate, I don't mind doing 2 shows, or one at one time one day and one at another time another day of the week. But we can work that out. That's basically what this live is about today, is seeing who can do what. And
Can I just ask a question of Simone?
sure.
So earlier you said about discerning positive and negative people. And I
Mhm.
was just interested in what that looks like in reality to you. If you've got any kind of examples of how you personally, um, what are your indicators, if you like, for what if someone's positive or someone's negative, and how do you kind of how do you work with that in your daily life, I guess?
Well, remember, the human form is just that, the human form. Stop looking for somebody to have green skin, a tail, and a horn coming out of their forehead. Picture a beautiful man, whoever is beautiful to you, whatever you consider. Now, think about every time this man opened his mouth. No matter how good he looks, he never has anything positive to say about anyone. You know, imagine him talking about a project that he was working on with another employee. This guy didn't do anything. I had to do all of the work. He came in late all the time. His work was sloppy. And it's like this for every conversation he has. It wasn't just this project, because of course we can all be on a project where somebody wasn't pulling this weight. But every single time you hear him speaking of someone, he has something nasty to say. Every woman he breaks up with, oh, she was crazy. All of the women you date are crazy? Well, who's the common denominator there, pal? Why are you seeking out these crazy women? It's really interesting how we can look at someone in the outer form and think, wow, that is a beautiful person. Yet we don't see all of the turmoil that's coming around them, that's inside of them, and they're spewing it at us. They never have
Right.
anything positive to say. Someone's always upset them. No matter how good they look, there is always an issue. So when you recognize these people, recognize them. What is that saying? When people show you who they are, believe them. Of course,
Absolutely.
Mm.
I mean,
I
if
love that. Maya Angelou is just so wise. I love that.
and I
I
know it's
think.
become a cliche at this point, but it's just so true. It's
Mm-hmm.
just so true. If a person is unhappy, hurt people hurt people. If a
Correct.
person is
Mm.
unhappy with them, they aren't going to treat you well. And you have
But
to begin to recognize that.
But can I say
Mhm.
it's you have to be of a certain you have to know yourself pretty well to get that level of discernment, I guess, is what
Well,
I'm
it
saying.
all
Because if you're a hurt person, you're not necessarily recognizing what you say. Does that make sense?
Yes.
absolutely, absolutely. And it's all about also, and a lot of it has to do with how you're raised. If you were raised in a positive home, you'll tend to seek out positive people. If you were raised in a negative home, you will tend to seek out negative people. A very close friend of mine was recently telling me about a breakthrough she made in therapy. She never realized that her mother was a jealous woman and her mother was jealous
Mm.
of her. Many of the friends who she had in her life, many of the people who she thought were friends, were jealous. She
Oh.
sought out what she knew. She sought out jealous people who weren't truly happy for her, who only wished to see her fail so they could make herself themselves feel better. It took her years. I think she was in her 50s before she understood that. That is what she told me. She's now about 65, but she told me she was 50 before she realized I came from a home of negativity. My mother was a jealous woman who was jealous of me, and I often sought out friends who were jealous because that's what I knew. The same thing goes for love relationships. You talk about women and men who have mommy issues. If a
Hmm.
man grew up in a home with a mother who was unfaithful to the husband, and he always saw the mother who, yes, she cooked and she cleaned and she was there, but there was always these times where she was absent, and then she'd come home and there was arguing, and they never spoke about what the arguing was, but it was clearly an issue of infidelity. Don't be surprised if that man grows up and seeks out women who aren't faithful to him. He's seeking what he knows.
Mm.
And until he
Right.
comes to the understanding that this is what I learned, this is what I experienced, but there's so much more out there. There are faithful women. He's going to continue to seek out those women who won't be faithful to him. So I think understanding when you say knowing yourself, knowing where
Hmm.
you came from, knowing what you grew up with, coming to
Hmm.
recognize who we are and how much of our parents we take on, those are important
Mm.
factors too.
Yeah, I think that's so true. I come from a slightly different position where I have a lot of parental influences. I grew up in one family, and then I
Mhm,
found my birth family, and
mhm,
then the family I grew up with, they had divorces. So I have, if you like, a lot of maternal figures.
mhm,
So Kim and I discussed this before about nature versus nurture. So
mm,
how much of yourself you are and then how much of yourself you are when you come into this world, how much, like you say, you are influenced by your environment in terms of how you've been brought up, and then how much at a critical point in life, for me, it was a young woman in my 20s, when I met my birth mother, I then took on her influence, if you like.
Mhm.
But the outstanding thing for me, and this is the nurture versus nature argument, is all my maternal figures are very strong. You know, their
Mhm.
baseline is very strong. So I often wonder how what the real difference is that I would have to my character in terms of influence if I'd lived with any of those mothers, because
Mm.
the baseline is strength. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And
It does.
so I really understand what you say about influence, because there are things that we react to now based on that, that initial reaction we had to a similar incident. So for some people it could be at 5 years old, and that's why some people now we see them having big tantrums. Do you know
Mhm.
what I mean? When something happens, because they've only learned to have a tantrum, and
Mhm.
that fixes it. And then we
Who
have
here has
other.
been at work and had an adult throw a tantrum on them? We all have.
Yeah, 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 definitely. And so you can kind of see, I guess that goes back to your point about negative and positive people. Once you get, I guess once you commit to doing some work in your life on yourself, and to be who you are. And when I say be who you are, I mean it's letting go and working through those environments that you were raised with. So letting go of some of those things that we attach ourselves to about ourselves or about how we see the world. We can then we can then reach a level of what you're saying about really looking at people through a different eye, if you like. So, like your work colleague, for example, who always moans.
Mhm.
So, I think it's a really interesting thing. I'm just so interested in people and the human experience. I love this conversation.
Me too. And Mike is right. He's talking about unlearning what you have learned.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
And that is a process where you have to work on yourself. Nobody else can do it for you. And you have to realize, okay, this is not, even though this is what I have learned from a young age, this is not correct. So, yes, you do have to unlearn it and relearn the right ways. And that does take time. It
Hmm.
takes more time for some than others, but that's okay. You do it at your pace, you do it um, as you can, but you have to learn to love yourself and not to let anybody um, come against that love and destroy it. Like I said, put the person on mute, whether it's psychological or actual. Put them on mute and do not accept or internalize what's coming out of their mouth.
Mm. And to that, going back to that piece just around um, how our environment and what we learn through our upbringing and our environment, how much influence that has on us. I remember when I started to practice Buddhism, and someone said, "Well, Kate, oh my God." I've just doxed myself. Well, London girl, um, the thing about Buddhism is it makes you who you're supposed to be. And she said that basically when you're born into this world, you for the first 3 months you don't necessarily know that you're not attached to your mother. Then everything that you're hearing is very positive. You're oh, well done, oh great, you're drinking this, you're doing this, oh good baby, good baby. All these things are very positive for most people who come into the world. Then, as soon as you start to have a little independence, you're being told no, because as you crawl to get something from a desk, it's like, no, 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 don't touch that. And then it's no, 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 no. whereas before it was mostly well done, great, you're sitting up, but there's a point where it changes, for good reason, because your parents are teaching you safety and danger, but the language becomes negative. And then when you go through school, it's the same kind of thing. You're getting more negative than you are positive in a lots of cases. And so these things leave a kind of stain, subconscious or conscious, on who we are. And that, I think, is where we become, if we aren't, because there are some real fighting young souls that come into this world. If we aren't of the particular character, we are very influenced unconsciously by these negative, um by the negative, in a disproportionate way, and that kind of cloaks who we're supposed to be. And I'm sure it's the same in every religion, but I can only speak to my Buddhist practice, because when I started to practice, it was like the layers of doubt, and especially as women, we carry these negative stories about who we are in the world. And to refer back to what Simone was saying about, the negative influences, whether they're with housewives or whether they're through the magazines or other social media, about who we are as women. Um, it, it, Buddhism helped me to unpack all that, if you like, to know who I was, to know that, I am London girl and I'm bloody awesome. Those kind of things. To unlearn, like Micah said.
Right.
Absolutely.
My mom always told me for the first year and a half of a child's life, you teach them to walk and talk, and the rest of it, you tell them to sit down and shut up.
Yes. Okay. Well, you've managed to say it in a much more succinct way than me, so thank you.
Uh,
Can
and
I
that,
just
go ahead, Simone.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be contrary, but London Girl said that for the most of us, we enter the world under that positive light where you're told, oh, you sat up, everything is wonderful. But I think that it may not be true to say for the most of us, because imagine entering the world and your mother goes through postpartum depression. From the gate, from the very beginning, you are in a world that isn't positive, that isn't bright. And your learning of seeking out that isn't positive and bright started from the very beginning. So I
Yes.
think that,
Sorry, I don't want to generalize and say everyone. You're quite right.
you know, I just think that's something to keep in mind, because some people start off at a deficit from the very beginning. There
Yes.
wasn't any type
Yes.
of positivity there.
Yes. No, you're absolutely right, and I don't want to diminish, or I don't want people to think that I'm not acknowledging that. So thanks a lot, Simone, for bringing it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do appreciate that. I was reading the chat. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go back and say again, please, everybody, if the chat, women's chat, and we can have men. Men are not excluded. I'm not going to say that men cannot come, because, like Mike, I love Mike's point of view. And yes, please misspell any um, curse words, so I don't get my video taken down. But I love Mike's view, and also Levon comes in sometimes. I love listening to Levon. So yes, I'm interested in everybody. If this is something that you are interested in, please drop a sunflower in the chat. You're all right, Mike. It's all
And
good.
and do you think, Kim, that just because some of your subscribers have want to join because it is woman to woman, and they want to maybe discuss things that they might not be so comfortable discussing in the company of men, that you would just let people know that this is a woman to woman on this day, and on this day
Yes.
or this particular occasion we do have these two guys or three guys, whoever it is, joining, just so people can feel safe and aware of. Do you know what I mean? Because
Okay.
I saw I saw one comment which said, yeah, I want to join the women's group because there are things that I don't want to talk about in front of men.
Right. And with the Zoom chat, you do get to see who's coming up. And I will say, okay, is this a conversation that a gentleman needs to enter or not, and then not let them enter that day? Yes, because I do want a safe place for women. I know there's things that I would like to talk about with girlfriends and everything that I'm not comfortable with a man sitting there listening to. You know,
Yeah, so
and I'm
maybe
sure
just on the
there's
days
people
that you
like that.
yeah, and so maybe just on the days you invite people. I just wanted to give a kind of a safety awareness message for your
Right,
subscribers who've come, you know what I mean?
right. Um, this, like, it's the reason for starting this. Where do you hear when this starts? Irene, I'm next week I will start it, and that's what I'm doing today. I've got this show, and then I've got another one at noon today, and I'm trying to decide when is a good day and a good time to do it. And then I will do on that day a short video on YouTube with the link to the Zoom call in that description. And that's how you will get into the chat. Um, Again, it will not be aired, it will not be published on any social media, it will not be recorded. So you will be able to say what you want to
Mhm,
say or need to say, or questions that you
mhm.
might need answered that another lady can help answer. Pink Dynamite says, I think we need to go back a little further and talk about intrauterine I can't even get it out this morning, trauma also.
That's true. I'd agree.
Um, what are your thoughts on that, Linda girl?
Well, I'm interested in loads of different topics. So I think I think to allow time for people to be able to discuss those things that are of concern, because I do think as women, we bring a lot to the table in terms of different ideas and shared thoughts and things that I may not have experienced myself, but I can use in my daily life through listening and hearing someone else's experience of a topic.
You know, I once heard a lactating mother say that when you are breastfeeding, you have to be careful of your mood, your emotion, because if you're stressed, if you're upset, you can spoil your milk. And I never knew that, but apparently, if you try to breastfeed when you're really stressed or upset, you could deliver the baby unhealthy milk, milk that's been given a lot of stress chemicals or whatever it has in it. So when you think about intrauterine trauma, I think that if a woman can spoil her milk because she's been stressed or in an emotionally uncomfortable state, what does that do to the baby? How do those chemicals affect the baby when the baby's in the uterus? You know, so the gestation while the child is growing, that that has importance in our world as well.
That's a very good point, and I'm gonna look into that a little more, and we will discuss that because that is a very valid point. I know when I was breastfeeding my child that I did have to watch my diet, and using that word diet, I'm brought back to what you said to begin with. Your diet is more than what you eat. It is everything that you involve yourself with and surround yourself with.
True.
Is We've been on here for a little over an hour, and I'm gonna go take a break in between the two shows. Is there anybody in the chat that would like to say anything, ask anything? Um, any kind of questions or comments, or let me know where you stand. Paranormal Witch says, when I had my kids, I had postpartum depression, and now I still have it, but it will come and go. I had postpartum depression after my first child. I was kind of all over the place, and I do thank God that my mom was there to help me, and she would hold my baby whenever I just couldn't, and all I could do was sit there and cry. So postpartum depression is real, and yes, I
Mm,
believe that it affects the child
Mm.
greatly.
mm, definitely, 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 definitely.
Thank you, Mike. I do too. I love I love the people. I love my chat. Um, I love my sunflowers and even my wildflowers that want to hang out in the bushes. Um, I'm an MD. Wait a minute. I'm an MD, not an OBGYN, but stress hormones not affect breast milk.
Okay.
Mm.
And that's Dr. Carissa.
Okay.
So thank you for sharing that, Dr. Carissa. I just wanted to go back to what Paranormal Witch said, and I hope that with this group that people can share resources that you might not know, but that might help you get some support. So that's how I see the group, is like a shared resource, a shared chat, a shared space.
Absolutely. Dr. Carissa said it can affect your milk supply, but not the milk itself.
Mm.
Okay, let me ask this while we're on this topic. Okay, um, you're stressed and you're breastfeeding. Your baby can feel the stress that you have, and um, instead of not necessarily the milk that they're consuming, but they're feeling your feelings as well. They can tell you're stressed. They can tell when you're not happy. And how does that affect their digestion of the milk that they're
Mhm.
intaking?
It sounds like this is a bigger topic that you
Mm.
don't have time for today, but it's definitely an interesting one.
Absolutely. And I'm taking, I take notes. Y'all know I got a 5 subject notebook laying right here beside me, and I take notes. And we will have this discussion again, probably privately, because I'm sure there's some people who don't want to discuss that on a published. I don't want to discuss it. There's things I have to say that I don't want to discuss until it's in private. But I am going to get ready to end this chat. Mike, thank you so much. I've been reading your comments. I appreciate you. Um, Dr. Crystal, you're right. That's too much to address in a chat right here. I'm talking about in a Zoom call. We may be able to speak on it. Um, Even if you come back and watch the replay of this video and you have comments, please leave them. I will be back. It's 9:11. Wow, it's 9:11 here. I'll be back at noon here, and we appreciate you too, Mike. I will be back at noon. If you would like to come back and join me, or just leave in the comments section um, what time and date. Yes, Dr. Carissa, are you on Instagram? And do you have your own YouTube channel? And how can we find you?
And also, I would say for Dr. Carissa, because it looks like you want to participate in one of the groups, then I would say if you can email Kim, if you're not in any of that social media, just so she has your contact details for letting you know when the first meeting's going to be.
I'm typing in my email address. Hang on just a minute. Anybody can reach me by email. Um, London girl, do you want to give out your contact information?
So yeah, as you see on my thing there, I'm on IG. I'm Original Dalston Girl. For context, Dalston is an area in London, in Hackney, and it's an area that's gone through a lot of regeneration. So I am the original Dalston girl who lived here before the gentrified people moved in and moved out the local community.
Wonderful. Dr. Carissa says yes, and she follows Simone. I'll link my business page. That would be awesome. Absolutely. And shout out, yep, OG. You know Mike's got your back, London girl.
I know. I can't wait to do a podcast with him.
Yeah, we're gonna do one. We're gonna get together and do another one. Simone, do you have your channel up and going? Would you like to tell people how they can reach you?
You know, I most certainly have a channel. It is not, I don't have any content as of yet. I've yet to go live or drop a video, but you most certainly can sign up for the channel. It's called Running That Mouth. You can find it on my Instagram. There's a link there. My Instagram is Running That Mouth. And you can link to my YouTube page. Please subscribe, because when I drop or go live, you'll be the first to know. And also on my About page are links to all my other social media outlets. I'd really love to keep in contact with everyone. This is such a positive, intelligent group. Yeah, find me there. YouTube, Running That Mouth, and on Instagram at Running That Mouth. And then there's links to all other social media there.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Good morning, Queen of Cheesecake. We are about to end this live, and I will be back at 12 o'clock noon Central Standard Time, which is 1 Eastern Time. And I think that is 9 in other areas. I don't have all of those broken down, but it is noon Central, 1 East.
And you've already posted the link, have you, Kim, to the next show today? So
I have it up and running.
Perfect. So people can just click on the reminder, so it cuts.
Right.
So when Kim goes live, you can just instantly join her. I won't be with you on the next one, but I really enjoyed this. And I thank you so much. And Simone, it's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll have to get in contact.
I've literally just followed you on the gram. So, you know.
Perfect. Perfect. Let me go there and send you a little message.
Mike, with your time change, I know you were 8 hours ahead of me. So with your time change, I'm not sure, you're either 7 or 9 hours ahead of me. Right now, it is 9:16 my time. I appreciate London Girl and Simone for getting up here and joining me. Thank you, Queen of Cheesecake, and I love yours too. I love your channel. I think you are an adorable lady.
Queen of Cheesecake, we need to talk, because there's this cheesecake in England that I love, which has kind of gone out of production, it seems, but it's a lemon. Sorry, I just got so excited seeing cheesecake. So the thing that makes it different is normally in England we have cheesecake with a biscuit base, and it's normally just this thing called digestive biscuit. But this lemon cheesecake they make with ginger biscuits, and oh my god, the ginger and the lemon together. Mwah! One of my on my to-do thing is getting back into baking, because I like desserts. I've got a very sweet tooth. I'm too sweet, but I am going to try and make this lemon cheesecake.
You said it's from where? Where did it originate?
So we've got a shop called Marks and Spencer's. Mike will know, and literally it was Mike bakes. Okay, Mike, you can bake me. I'm gonna Instagram you my list of cakes to bake. But it was but it's got ginger biscuit at the bottom, So we have, you know, I don't know the cookies and biscuits in America, but biscuit is a something you'd have with a cup of tea, and we do these hard ginger biscuits, and it makes a really great base for cheesecake, especially lemon cheesecake with the ginger. So it's a
Yeah.
hard base of ginger biscuit, and then lemon, and then cream.
So the biscuits
Think of
are
cookies. So we call
that's what
biscuits
I'm saying. We
cookies.
would
Yeah.
call them cookies or tea
Yeah.
cakes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
these are hard ginger cookies that you crush
Mhm.
up, and
Ginger
it just
snaps is what they're called here.
yeah, they're a bit. I'm going to send you some so you can see what they are.
Awesome. And I'm going to let me try to make you one and freeze it and see if I can send it. I am really, y'all, I'm trying to do something like that on my Southern Fried and gluten free. I would like to be able to actually, instead of just because I'm about to put my book together, I've got enough recipes, but I would also like to be able to overnight stuff to people. We'll have to see how that goes. But anyway, we
Anyway,
are. I'm sorry, I missed that, Linda girl.
I've got to run now, so I just want to say
We are too.
thank you. So okay,
I love y'all so much. Thank you for being here. Thank everybody for being here. If you can come back at noon. And ladies, y'all have a blessed and beautiful day. And thank you so much for being on my panel.
catch
Thank
you
you for
again.
having
Thank
us.
you so
Thank
much.
you.
All right. Goodbye, everybody. I'll see you in a few hours.
Bye.
Bye bye.